what we have put together is a curriculum that is really about helping you grow your revenue. And in order for you to be in business, you need to be solving a problem. If you want to have a big business, solve a big problem. If you want a small business, solve a small problem. But I would encourage you to consider the bigger problems, because it's about as much effort to do a small business as it is a big business. You're going to solve you've got to deal with the exact same issues, right? You've got to find an audience, you've got to communicate to that audience, you've got to produce the solution, and you've got to deliver it profitably. And so the broader the problem, the more people that have it, the better off you are. And what we want to talk about is, although we have this comprehensive curriculum, we're only going to be talking today about 2 of the sections that we teach. And we call it Business Essentials Training. And there are 12 questions that, as a business owner, you need to have asked. And if you haven't, you need to ask yourself again, because there are many people that are in business that haven't been very deliberate about the process of examining why they're in business and what problem they're solving, how they do it uniquely, and what the value proposition is. And really, those are the first 3 that we're going to talk about. And that is kind of planting your flag. We call it planting your flag because you have to be solving a problem uniquely, different than anybody else. And the reason that this second part here, why we do it uniquely, is important is because there's this thing called mind share that gets occupied. And once it's occupied, you can't move somebody off that. And here's an example. This is participation. What toothpaste fights cavities? Right? Colgate. Colgate, surveyed, fights cavities. What does Crest do? What does Aquafresh do? So how many here use Aquafresh? Okay, I'm the only one. I like fresh breath, but I really don't brush with Aquafresh because I'm thinking to myself, fresher breath. I'm doing it because it was cheaper the day I bought it than Colgate or Crest, and it has the same fluoride content as the other 2. But why is it that Aquafresh spends all of its advertising dollars telling you that it is fresher breath?
It's different.
Not the tagline, but you're getting at it, because the mind share for cavity prevention is owned by Colgate. And here's an example of why that's important for you as a business owner. If somebody owns a space that you want to go into, do not go into the space the same way they own it. And here's a beautiful example. There was this wonderful car manufacturer that, prior to the point that we adopted small cars, as like you didn't see the Fiats and smart cars in the world, they wanted to start selling their hottest selling size car into the United States. And so they surveyed, they thought, well, Americans don't like small cars, they think they're dangerous, they're going to die in them because they have these highways and they crash. And so they wanted to convince you that they were the safest car manufacturer. Thus, you would buy their small car, which is imbued with all of the safety features that they were responsible for. So, given that, who manufactures the safest car? Volvo. 72% of consumers list Volvo as the safest vehicle manufacturer. So who invented side impact airbags? Front impact airbags, internal roll cages, crush zones, heads-up displays, anti-lock brakes. Who was it? And they own that space, right? It wasn't the company that was trying to come in that had invented all of that. It was Mercedes. Mercedes invented all those things. And they wanted to sell their A-series cars, which are little 3-cylinder, tiny little cars they sell tons of in Europe and in Asia, here. And so they spent $100 million to change your mind about who was safest. And they did that in a year, $100 million, and they were 7th in the rankings, and Volvo was number 1. And after spending that $100 million so that they could use that as the foundation to roll in their A-series automobiles, how far up the ladder do you think that they climbed after spending $1/10 billion? They went from 7, you would think, at least to 6. Well, Volvo tumbled all the way down from 1 to 1, and they climbed from 7 to 7. And it was because we perceive Volvos to be safer. And so even the car manufacturer that had invented almost all the elements that make a car safe couldn't claim it. It was owned by someone else. And even though they could show that they had done it, they couldn't claim it back. So as you consider the problem you're solving, and again, You want a big business, solve a big problem. You need to be approaching it in a way that's unique, different than other people that are in the space you're in. And then you have to offer a value proposition recognized by the audience that has the problem that you're solving. And so here's an example. What's your name? Nicole. Nicole is an avid skier. And Nicole, skiing regularly, breaks her arm occasionally. She's right on the edge. She's constantly pushing her body to the edge and occasionally breaks herself up a little bit. And she comes and she breaks her arm. And I go to Nicole, I say, oh, your arm's broken. How did you break your arm? She says, I was skiing. Skiing, right. And so she breaks her arm, and I go to her, I said, would it hurt if I moved your arm this way? And of course, she reflexively moves back and says, don't do that. Yeah, that hurt. What if I bumped you? Yeah, don't do that either. But if I hold up something that looks like a sling, immediately there's this connection we have, just like I had with the audio guy. With this, like, you're getting a little close. But immediately she goes, oh, I get what the purpose of that thing is. And now the only thing that has to occur is a negotiation between the pain she's in and the price of my solution. Now, if I tell her that this thing is $1,499 made out of Egyptian cotton, you know, do you think that the pain she's in is going to breach the price threshold that I'm offering it at? No, she goes, you know, my significant other has a bunch of ties. I can probably, you know, use a few of those and accomplish the same thing. But if I said it was $14.99, she might go, great, what color do you have other than blue, right? Guys, it's blue, black. Women, it's what other colors do you have? I'm accessorizing. Now, if she were a young man, now I've broken my body a few times. I have new knees and a new shoulder. And for me, when I have those injuries that ultimately resulted in those repairs, people would say, why are you on crutches? You know, why are you in a cast? And over time, you get kind of bored. You're like, here, I just type it up, read it, right? Just read what happened. It was stupid, and mostly often is. So if instead I was maybe age 14 to 30 instead of the ripe age that I am, I had on this little sling a picture of my accident. Because everybody's got a GoPro, or they're taking video of me hitting the tree and my tooth shooting out, right? And there's my arm going the wrong direction. They're going, ooh, that looks awful. But instead, I just put the picture on the sling, right? Because the sling, how common is a sling? Very common. How do I differentiate? How do I make it unique? I change it into something other than a sling. Instead of fighting cavities, it's now vanity, right? Instead of fresher breath, it's something other than that. It's a poster of my BA-ness. You know, I live my life so much on the edge, I break myself all the time, and here's visual evidence of what a, bad guy I am, right? Now, how much is that sling worth? Maybe not to you, because you're emotionally developed. Your right and left hemisphere communicate with each other. But as a 14-year-old, probably male, to a 30-year-old, maybe even 35-year-old, maybe even pushing into the 40s, early 40s, that might be your audience, right, for that kind of thing. And if I'm a wise marketer, I'll say, hey, I'll send you a new picture on a new sling every week for the 6 weeks you're wearing the thing, right? And in fact, it comes with, we'll put a little customized website, and you can look at all of the pictures and the video of what a BA I am, and So suddenly, what's that worth? What's the value proposition of a sling if you change its purpose? Now, what's its purpose, really? Immobilize my arm, right? Well, what does it become? Right, so if you know what it becomes and you know the audience that it's for, which aren't mature women, where do you find guys like that might be interested in that solution? Right, exactly. So, suddenly, framed properly, you all become brilliant marketers, truly brilliant marketers. But you need to be that specific about what problem you're solving, how you're doing it uniquely, and what your value proposition is, because it isn't about the $14.99. Am I making my 20 points or 40 points or Keystone 50 points? you can make a whole lot more if you get that formula right. There was a lady that came in when I was the director of the Small Business Development Center who had a math solution that could teach children the math tables, the multiplication tables up to 14 in 1 hour with 98% retention over 90 days. And she couldn't give it away at $19.99. And we spent a lot of time talking about what problem she was solving. And it wasn't teaching kids math. And the audience wasn't the kids or the teachers. Right. Why do you think it mattered to parents that their kids know something about math? Yeah, so.
Better college.
Okay, and better college leads to?
Better jobs.
And better jobs leads to?
More money. To support families.
Right, and lifetime earning potential.
Right.
So if you think about all of the careers, I'm sorry, say that again?
It prevents crying at night.
Yeah, it does, it does. And you don't get that 60, like, oh my gosh, I don't remember the quadratic equation. And how do I solve this thing again? I've gone through algebra 6 times. So at any rate, the issue is that the value to her was understanding it was the lifetime earning potential of the child and selling that to the parents. Once you understand that you're solving a problem and you have to solve it uniquely, and you understand the value proposition that's compelling to the audience, then we go to the next stage, which is?
I love this, just saying. This is one of the funnest templates that you can use like over and over and over again on everything. So here it is. It's called the transaction cycle. Now, the first step is, well, anytime you're going to sell to somebody, they're going to go through these 5 steps, all right? So what I want you to be able to do is very specifically guide them through these 5 steps, whether it's on your website or social media or talking to them directly or even on your business card. I want you to incorporate some of these steps, know where they are. So first off, if I've got a problem and I need a solution, if I don't know that you have my solution, it doesn't help me, right? And it doesn't help you. So creating awareness that I have the solution to your problem is number 1. But right on the heels of creating awareness is number 2, is that I need to have confidence that the solution you're offering me is actually going to work. You know, that you're not just going to take my credit card and run off to Mexico. Or that something, it's one of those out of the cereal box type of toys that's going to break 2 days later. I need to know, I need to have that confidence in your solution. So how do you gain confidence as a prospective customer of something else? What do you look for to see it? Yeah, that product's legit. What do you look for? Consistency. So they've been around for a while. They've been delivering for a while, maybe. Credentials like certified. Maybe you have a background, a history in it, right? Maybe somebody said something over here. What was it? Testimonials. Testimonials are big, right? Especially when there aren't credentials or you can't really test it. Testimonials of customers and maybe well-known customers. That's kind of a little extra added bonus. These are things that when you get somebody's awareness, you need to have your confidence builder right there, right there. Because sometimes you only get that view once, right? So that's key. What's next? Having them try your product, right? I want you to try my offering. Now, how does Costco and Sam's Club do this? Samples. Right? Samples all day long. Super, you can eat a meal there sometimes. How else could you do a try? Demos, samples, that's right. How about call for a free evaluation? I'm going to give you 10 minutes, 30 minutes of talking to me. Because it's not always the product. Sometimes it's the relationship that they want to try out. Maybe you have a great product, but I don't want to deal with that company, right? They never call me back, they're rude. So that try is a couple of different levels. So make sure that somewhere in your transaction cycle that you're bringing those target markets through, you have a try, okay? You have a try. The next one is getting them to buy something. Now, there was a lady who this is a couple of years back, they had a conference in Chicago where it was Internet Marketer Conference. And they had a contest during that conference that, the person who was going to win was the one who sold the most during the conference, which I would be bummed if I had actually paid for the conference and then was in the contest. But there's a whole bunch of people that took it on. The lady who won like hand over hand above the other people in the contest. And how did she do that? Well, in the days when freemium, free products and oh, try this and get on my newsletter list, what she had done was different. What she did was she had them come to her site. She didn't give things away for free, but she had low-cost items, maybe a $5 item, maybe a $12 item that people would, if they wanted it, they would purchase, they would download, they would get something. She found that if she could get her customers to buy something little, they were much more likely to come back and buy something else. They're kind of trying her out, right? Is this product decent? Is this company good to work for? So when she sent out an email invitation to come and buy something during this contest, she had a lot more responses because she had built that relationship by having them buy something little. So sometimes a little purchase can absolutely lead toward a bigger purchase. So consider that. Consider if you have small samples that they could buy for $2 or $3, right? Consider packages or a service. We'll come and wash 2 windows for you. All right, you have to gauge based on your business and where you are, but having an ability for people to try and then buy helps them to become a more loyal customer. And then the last one is facilitating a repeat purchase, right? Now I'm going to talk briefly about different industries. So if I owned a bridal store, I'm going to probably emphasize the top 3 questions over and over again, because when somebody gets married, how often during their life are they going to buy a wedding dress? Once, hopefully, maybe twice. Okay. So, and how long between oh my gosh, I'm getting married to I bought the dress? How long of a time frame is that? It's short around here for sure, right? So the flip side is it's a great business to be in. So I've got to catch their attention. I've got to catch these potential brides' attention when they're looking. So I've got to be in the fairs or on the magazines or wherever they're looking. I've got to be there, and I've got to create confidence. Oh yes, we have custom fitting. Oh yes, we'll do tailoring. Oh, we have these designers available. Oh, we have some budget dresses as well. Whatever I'm gonna build their confidence at that level and get them in the store so that I can build a relationship with them, right? Rapport. Now, if I'm the lady at the Provo Farmers Market, and maybe some of you have been down there, there's a lady down there who sells jalapeno jelly. And it is so good. But she focuses on 6, 7, and 8, right? So she has the samples and you try it and it's just so good. You walk back and you buy a bottle. But guess what's all over her bottle? The website, the phone number, right? She's facilitating a repeat purchase so that you think, oh, this is so awesome. I'm going to give this for a gift or for Christmas, and then you can find her again even if it's not farmers market season, right? So her focus is down there because she has a consumable. So depending on your industry and your purchase, you're going to focus a little more heavily on one side of this transaction cycle or another, but every step is important, okay? Oh, you split them.
I did, I split them.
Okay. So, and refer, actually, it's a lot more likely somebody who's done a repeat purchase is going to refer you, right? Because they have some customer loyalty. And you can facilitate that in a couple of different ways. Giving them an extra thing. By the way, instead of giving somebody a discount, please add an additional product or service. Okay, we really, especially in Utah Valley, love a coupon, but it diminishes the value of your product. Okay, so it's like, oh, I'm going to wait till it's $15.99 instead of the $19.99. It's a lot healthier for you, and it's still great for the customer if that $19.99 plus an extra this. It's a lot better way to make sales because you don't diminish the value of your product, right? So that's one way to help people refer, right? Give them a little extra something, or invite them to comment or feedback. Figure out a way that you can help your good, loyal customers refer. Because if you have raving fans of your business, great, talk to them. They're so important. And by the way, if you're marketing, market to women. Why? Women talk to each other, and women will buy for men, right? And sometimes men will buy for women, but not so much, right? So that's one way you can help refer. Even if it's a product for a man, talk to the women. Okay, so.
Wynn has one.
Yeah, and just the only piece to add, and you normally would cover that, but on the buy cycle, know that we all make decisions on our purchases emotionally. The process of getting people to actually try something, it's an emotive thing. You're trying to get them to do it. Here's the statistic from Kellogg's. You know the little boxes you get in the mail? What % do you think actually get opened and eaten? In this valley, probably slightly higher than the national average. 97% get thrown away. And it's because you don't have any confidence in what's in them, such that you're going to take the time to open the box, put it in a bowl that you now have to clean, and waste your milk on it, and it doesn't taste good, right? So people that are unfamiliar with you, this cycle that she's talking about is confidence, is huge. The try is an emotive piece. The buy, now you not only have you gotten them to buy emotionally, if you don't buttress it with logic, you can't overcome their buyer's remorse. The bigger the ticket item, the higher the probability of buyer's remorse. That's why you need to buttress the emotive decision. You're appealing emotionally. Buttress it with evidence of the logic of the decision and how it's such a good solution to their problem. And that has to be part of the process. Okay, so the next section is really about the messaging. Once you understand the problem you're solving, what your unique solution is. I mean, you say you run a gym. Okay, I thought it was really unique that one of the bigger gyms nationwide is not the gym, right? You go and what's the gym that's not the gym?
You mean
Planet Fitness, right? It's a gym. They have weights. But they're not a gym, because they realize that there's a niche. Somebody owns gym, and it's not them, right? It's and so they're the anti-gym. That's a perfect example of a gym where you're supposed to go and work out, and they're telling you, no, come and socialize, and occasionally bump into weights. You'll lose weight, but that's an example. But if we use that as an example, then you think about the audience, and it's the people that are intimidated going to the gym. We have body image issues, and you almost feel like you have to be in shape to go to the gym to get in better shape. And if you aren't a certain shape, you can't go to the gym because you're going to be in spandex, and it will reveal how out of shape you truly are, right? And I love the image of myself when I look in the mirror, which from my perspective, and I look in the mirror, I have a full head of hair. But my wife tells me that I don't. And that's kind of the disparity between how we see ourselves and how we really are, and the gym's a perfect example of that disparity, right? So when you talk about messaging, you need to be identifying the message, and this is classic marketing messaging, and it's not that I'm all about negative messages, but here's the science behind it. We respond twice as effectively, twice as often to avoiding pain than we do to gaining a reward. Think of your parenting style with your children. Okay, I've promised my children all kinds of things, trips to wild places, copious amounts of money for good grades. And it was when I took the phone away that the grades improved, right? So we avoid, I don't know why we're programmed that way, but in religious paradigms, I want to avoid hell more than I want to go to, right? I grew up in a Catholic tradition, and I was all about avoiding hell, because that's all they talked about, avoid hell. It was never heaven because nobody knew what that was about, but they kept telling me what hell looked like, and I could believe that. So when you think about the messaging, the message, and this is Marketing 101, you identify the problem, you amplify the problem, which I did with you, right? Oh, you have a broken arm. Oh, what if I bumped it? And she, oh, don't do that. It's this dull pain that really hurts. Well, what if I lifted it up, amplify it again? And the resolution was holding up The sling, right. And there's that moment. We had that moment. And that's what you're looking for, is that when you understand what your solution is, and you understand it from the audience that you're speaking to, then you can message. You become, just like you were brilliant at identifying, I think you were the one that said, where would you find 14 to 45-year-old men that are stupid? Right back here. It was over in this area, right? Everywhere you look, but a high concentration of them are at skate parks, right? Or at ski resorts, or extreme sport events, right? And so, and if each scoop at the awareness shovel costs you money, you want to dig in dirt where there's a higher probability of getting some gold, right? And so that's what this is about. So understanding that your messaging needs to be tuned to the audience. Now, also back to the sling piece, right? There could be multiple audiences for the sling. The primary audience would be the person that's breaking their arm and thinks a certain thing about themselves and wants the billboard. The other might be, I might sell it through doctors' offices, and you would speak differently to doctors, to the clinic, than you would to the young man. You'd speak differently to the parents. Although you may be selling the same product to solve a specific problem, there could be other tangential audiences that need a specific message that is emotive and meaningful to them. And so we help you do that as well. So
can I give one of my favorite?
Oh, please.
One of my favorite examples is the Ken Garff billboards. They've been, okay, so perfect. I mean, there's not a lot of words on there. What problem are they solving? Yeah, did they amplify it nicely? Yes. Do they solve it uniquely? They've amplified the problem, and do they have the solution for it? Yes, they absolutely do. And in that beautiful billboard, they've said, we know what the problem is. We totally, don't do that. And we know it's a big deal, right? So that's kind of a brilliant local example.
How many here play an instrument? Okay, a few. So you know what a tuning fork is? Now we use, pitch pipes, and we use now electronic devices. But it was in the day, you would use something that looked an awful lot like that. And you would hit like a C note, and it would resonate. And if you had all of the notes in a box, able to vibrate, the only one that would vibrate when you hit the C note would be the other C notes. And there's a metaphor there that you need to be very specific about the message you're striking. And one of the most courageous decisions you'll ever make as a business owner is to realize that not everybody is your customer. And that's and I know you think, oh, of course, but no, the reality is we all wake up and go, everybody has that problem. No, really, the vast majority of the planet doesn't. And the reason that that's important is that because the process of digging for them is so expensive, the awareness, getting through the white noise of all the things that distract us is so expensive, that the more specific you get, the more success you'll have. And you start with that core and expand out from the core, but get really specific about the core.
It is the lifeblood. If you can fine-tune your message, it's the difference between 15 minutes saves you 15%, and
the cheesiest examples, you've all seen terribly cheesy examples like the slap chop. And I'll always remember, do you have a boring life? Add celery to your tuna fish, and now you have an exciting It's like, oh my gosh. But if you understand the science, you can step back and realize, oh, I fall for that one all the time. That's why I buy celery. I can't remember why. Yeah, it's because I wanted to have an exciting life.
I just thought what you said is you're not alone, and that could be like your tagline. It's like, you don't have to do this on your own anymore.
Yeah.
I'm here to help, and I'm cheaper than everybody else.
Right.
Except don't sell yourself cheap.
Yeah, right. I offer the best value in the space, and here's how I do it.
Yep. I'm the best value in town. Okay. We have Camille. Who's doing this part? Oh, it's you.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, you click one more time. So as I mentioned before, the Business Resource Center houses these amazing people and their resources. Now, we spoke an acronym. We don't speak an acronym there. BRC stands for Business Resource Center, Small Business Development Center. I don't know what yours stands for. What is it?
Utah Science, Technology, and Research Initiative.
Yeah, okay.
It's
We do.
USTAR.
USTAR, there it is. And we have manufacturing solutions, we have government contracting solutions, but primarily we focus on growing your revenue, gaining access to capital, and dealing with all the meaningful things that stand in the path. And they typically, as a business owner, everything I did fell into one of those 7 categories. But the primary colors, the red, yellow, and blue, were the things I was doing all the time. Now, Camille's going to talk about the blue part, because if you are not comfortable with the financial aspect of your business, you will put yourself out of business. The happy thing is that you have that pit in your stomach, Camille.
Yeah. We can teach you this language because that's what it is. Spreadsheets, numbers, you know, it's part of a business. It's actually a really fun part of the business if you know how to do it and how it works, because it gives you a shorthand on looking through your business and saying, oh, I've got to pay attention here, this is going well, and you know, and it's just a learned skill. People come into my office all the time and this is their concern, right? They're worried about the number side of the business. Don't let that be your concern, right? Come in and let us help you. We will walk you through it step by step until you're really good at it, and then you can do the number side of the business and everything else too, okay?
And even if you don't want to become really good at it, you have to have a conversational knowledge of it. And that's different. So give the minutia over to somebody for whom they, you know, that their hands get sweaty, their throat gets tight, because that's what they're about. But you've got to know what it means, and we'll teach you what it means. Great. Perfect.
Okay, so this is what the Business Resource Center looks like. It's over there by IHOP at Protection 1.
Behind Wendy's.
Behind Wendy's, yes.
We call it the cafeteria.
We do call it the cafeteria. I'm going to the cafeteria, you want to come? And here are a bunch of the resources that are over there. They're free. They're here to help Utah have economic
What you need to
development.
know is this person here. She runs the Small Business Development Center. They have all the counselors, and they will hold your hand to the resources as you need them.
Yeah.
Some of them you won't need. This is kind of looking at the back of your AV receiver. You're going, oh my gosh, where do I plug the wires, right? We'll just tell you, plug purple to purple, yellow to yellow, red to red, and it should all work, right? So that's what we do for you.
So come talk to a counselor, and then we'll help you with a plan, with a strategy, help you get connected with resources.